Welcome once more to the Dodgy Reg podcast from Richard Foreman. This time, we find Reg getting aerated about the pointlessness of indoor flowers. It's the second in the series, and it's called Roses. Now, flowers. Here's a funny thing. Bit of nature, and you plonk it in a vase and stick it on the coffee table. Well, I say nature. It's not exactly natural, is it? Roses don't grow like that in the wild. There's centuries, perhaps even millennia of breeding and crossbreeding gone into those pink and white blooms. What's the point? You can't eat them. They just die. All the petals fall off and then you drop them in the compost. Dodgy Reg is off on one again. I'm quietly wishing I'd had the chance to put the roses away in the kitchen when I heard the doorbell. But of course I didn't know it was going to be him till I opened the door. I let him in, of course, but with the thought in my head that I was going to have a word with him. He's been round my house just one too many times lately. I mean, I'm home in the daytime, yes, for sure. Doesn't mean I haven't got work to do. And then there's the smell. OK, it's my fault. I should have laid down some ground rules back when he first popped in. You want to roll one of them up and smoke it? I should have said. Outside. Instead, every time he goes, I'm left with this pungent, musty pong, old Holborn, and more than a lingering trace of his body odour. Anyway, now he's already made himself comfortable. Baccy packets out of the pocket of his tatty overcoat, draped across the sofa beside him, and he's rolling up a skinny one. So what are you doing with that lot on your coffee table? Well, what's it to you, Reg? Why get so worked up about it? I shall enjoy looking at them, and they make the room smell a bit nicer. I shrug my shoulders. Obviously there'll come a time when the petals drop off, etc. But until then, I shall continue to enjoy them. Isn't that sufficient? I notice that the right knee of his drainpipe jeans has worn away and the frayed material is splitting open from side to side. A length of grubby string has replaced one of his trainer laces. I'm wondering, how do you lose a lace? A single lace? Out comes the old Ronson. He flicks the top open, rasps the flint and lights his fag. I'm on the point of getting up to find an ashtray when he exhales his first mouthful of smoke and begins to pontificate. But listen, man, this is not a natural environment for flowers. If you want to sniff the blossom, get out in the... He breaks off into an abrupt paroxysm of coughing. The fresh air. Since when have you known a great deal about fresh air? He lowers a single eyebrow, creasing his forehead asymmetrically, and gives me a sharp frown. No need to get personal, mate. Besides, I spend a great deal of time outdoors. I am one of this world's natural philosophers, as it happens. I'm getting you an ashtray. I don't want your ash all over my carpet. He glances at his ciggy. It has gone out. He reaches for the lighter, but does at least await my return with a jam jar lid before relighting. I pick up the thread of the conversation as he flicks, rasps, and inhales. Natural philosopher? One who studies nature and the universe? I quote the definition in doubtful tones, the kind I often find myself using with Reg. Exactly, he smiles, knowing perfectly well what I was inferring, but choosing to ignore it. I walk in nature's halls, and I contemplate its splendour. Out there, not stuck on your coffee table in a vase, though admittedly you have to go a few miles before you encounter anything that natural. So, natural philosophy, it only works outdoors then. Eh? He's not caught my gist. You going to make us a cup of coffee or what? All right, I'm thinking. But this is the last brew you get out of me for a while. So once he's got his cuppa and scrounged a couple of biscuits besides, Reg has other bones of contention to chew over, and in the ensuing talk we pay no more attention to the tricky topic of indoor flowers. I let him go on about his latest hassles with the benefit system, for which he has my profound sympathy as it happens. If Ken Loach has another film left in him, he should make it about Reg. Then there's his latest conspiracy theory. Reg's, not Ken's. This concerns the current President of the United States of America, who is, he claims, an invasive alien life form in a lumpy and ill-fitting human bodysuit, on a mission to completely destabilise all attempts to run our planet on a rational basis. In the ensuing chaos and destruction, his extraterrestrial brethren will move in en masse, subjecting any human survivors to torture and abject slavery, practices with which they apparently do not have a problem. Reg, hold it right there. We've already had the aliens thing in spades. David Icke, remember? Alien lizard reptiloids who secretly rule the world? I'm using that tone of voice again. He pierces me with a steely gaze as he stubs out his second ciggy. Yeah, but Richard, this time you have to admit, it's got a lot more credibility. I'm stumped for a moment or two, but then I remember why I stopped buying this stuff and decide to lay it on the line. And maybe this, I'm thinking, could also lead on to the suggestion I wanted to make regarding his visits. I don't know. I think we human beings are just totally baffled by the complexity of the world as we've made it. Technology, corporate capitalism, you name it, it's all haywire. We're just not mentally equipped to keep up with what we're doing to ourselves. We're lost in confusion. You cling on to these conspiracy theories as a kind of security. No matter how terrifying they are, they give you a sense that there is order somewhere. Someone who knows what they're doing. And they don't. To my surprise, he nods enthusiastically. Yeah, that is the way it looks. Couldn't agree more, but, he wags a finger, have you ever considered maybe that's just what they want you to think? I think that's what they call circular reasoning, isn't it? Reg has his Rizzlers out but stops mid-action, stares at me and grins like we've been playing chess and I've just made a tidy move. He pauses, seemingly lost for words. That doesn't last, of course. I've got to say this, Rich. There's not a lot of people who actually listen to me. Know what I mean? Thing is, I appreciate it, the attention like, and the cups of coffee. That's why I like popping round here every now and again. Probably overdoing it a bit, aren't I? You've got things to do and that. And I'm shaking my head. Just when I was on the point of telling him to bugger off, he throws me with a display of hitherto unsuspected sensitivity. It's all I can do to stop myself from telling him to keep coming round whenever he likes. I do manage, though. Yes, I can get a bit busy sometimes. Right, he's still grinning. Well, I'm going to ration myself from now on, don't you worry. In fact, it's time I got off. I fancy a nice walk out in the country, bit of philosophising. He looks at the coffee table. Enjoy your flowers, Rich. Odd bunch now and then doesn't do any harm, does it? He slipped the Rizzler back in the pack, grabbed his old coat, and he's up on his feet before I can respond. I'm too busy thinking. Did he know? Could he tell I was getting a bit fed up with him? After he's gone, and I've aired the room as best I can, I sit on the sofa, lean forward, and sniff at the roses. A thank you gift from a friend. The pleasant floral odour seeps into my nostrils. Delightful. Within seconds, I begin to sneeze copiously. Natural? Or have they been artificially sprayed with some sort of... No, I am not going there. Next time, Reg is conspicuous by his absence, and Richard begins to wonder if, despite his lack of faith in Reg's theories, Reg has, after all, been abducted by aliens.